Hi guys, the purpose of this video is to make sure you understand what is due by next class. First thing you need to do is to annotate, which means highlight and take notes on your articles, both A and B. And these I might have seen and checked off for you, one or two of them, or even perhaps none. But you need to make sure you print them both and make sure all of your highlights and annotations are finished. And the second thing is that you need to complete the outline, which is handwritten on the back of that packet for our summative. So just to remind you what that would look like, the outline is blank. Hi guys, this video is to make sure you understand exactly what to do for your homework by next class period. So one thing is that you want to highlight, which means annotate, which means highlight and take notes for articles A and B. If I didn't check off both of these because you needed to print them still, you do need to print them and fully annotate them by the next class period. And then the second part is to complete the outline, which is a handwritten outline on the very last page of your summative packet. And that looks like this. It has simple, really simple format with A, B, C. Okay, so we took some notes on that in class, but you need to finish this by next class as well by handwriting it here. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Make sure you understand these two things. So first thing I want to show you is an example of what a fully annotated 100%, 8 out of 8 investigation looks like. It involves a lot of highlighting, perhaps even color-coded highlighting, and comments about different ideas throughout your text. Now you can decide what types of facts you want to highlight, things that are really interesting to you, facts that you know, or perhaps anecdotes, facts, details you know will be useful for you in your research. So use this as an example. Make sure not only to do highlighting, but to make notes as well throughout. Okay, both of your articles, and this, for example, is labeled D, your articles should be labeled A and B, and they should have much of this type of annotation. The next thing I want to show you is that if you're struggling at all, make sure to check out my homework and classwork section of my Power Learning page. There's another video here as well to look at, and there's an example of an outline here. Okay, so before I move on to this part of the video, you might want to check out my Power Learning page, but I'm going to actually show you how I do this using the handwritten outline and an example text. Okay, so for example, I'm going to use this text about black bears, and my essay is going to be about black bear intelligence. Okay, specifically, this article is great because it's focused on how black bears can count. So it has to do with their numerical ability to complete complex numerical tasks. Okay, this is my article A. Now, I haven't fully annotated this, so keep in mind it's blank. But the way this will work, the way this article is organized, is that this first section describes one type of experiment that bears did to earn food, where they selected dots on a computer screen. And the second part of the article describes a different experiment where they think that this bear could actually count and show that they were even discriminating or determining differences between numbers. So I'm going to kind of add this to I'm going to use this article as an example that I'm going to add to my outline. Okay, so here's my outline. I know that I need a hook, background information, and a thesis statement. And I think I mentioned already that my first attribute has to do with numerical intelligence or numerical tasks, completing complex numerical tasks. Okay, and I'm going to use article A about counting to fill in this first paragraph of information. So all these details and examples are going to be related to this article A that I just showed you. And for now, I'm just going to show you how I complete paragraph 1 and then how I would complete paragraph 2 with some examples and details from that article A. Okay? You'll be able to continue forward with attribute 2, I'm hoping, after you see an example of this first part. Okay? So I'm going to show you completed outline. and go through it with you step by step. Okay, the hook of an essay can be various things. It can be a question, it can be a fact, it can be an anecdote. And I'm going to start my essay off with an anecdote about how there was a bear in a kitchen, and he was using his numerical intelligence to choose a jar full of nuts, and rather than choosing an empty jar of nuts, he chose a full jar of nuts. He had choice between the size. So I might start off my essay with a surprising story about how a bear can show intelligence with numbers, and then continue on to some background information about how animals are smarter than we realize, and some animals can almost think like humans. This is background information that can be specific to the bear, or background information about just in general animal intelligence. Okay, each of these will be maybe 1 or 2 sentences long, and since this is an outline, it's okay if I'm not writing as if I would in the essay. This is going to be a shorter, more simplified version of my essay. Later I'll make it more complete. Okay, now I've got a thesis statement. This thesis statement should be really, really simple. The thesis statement is the black bear is intelligent because it shows intelligence in 2 ways, one way and another way. So really you're just going to simply state the name of your animal and the 2 ways they show intelligence, attribute 1 and attribute 2. So I might say something like this. Two distinct ways a black bear shows intelligence is by solving complex problems. There's 1, solving complex problems, and by forming alliances and friendships. That's 2, and I'm not going to describe this one yet. That's for the second body paragraph. Okay, today I'm going to focus on this complex and numerical problems. Okay, so attribute 1, complex problems that are numerical tasks. This is the first part of my thesis statement. Okay, so I'm thinking about my article A, and I'm thinking about ways that I can integrate the information from this article in my own words into my essay. So the first thing I think is important, I have 3, A, B, and C. First thing I think is important is that there was an experiment at the Alabama Mobile Zoo, where the scientists trained bears to choose high and low numbers of dots. They could ask them to, basically the experiment had them practice choosing one or the other, and the bears could learn the difference. Okay? Continuing on, the next big experiment they did was with a bear named Brutus the bear. He could actually tell the difference between the numbers and the sizes, and so they called the number of dots, and they called him the counting bear. Obviously this was not true counting, because we know that animals or bears can't tell numbers or can't speak and explain a number, but we know that they could maybe discriminate or tell the difference. Okay? Finally, these experiments, the article discusses how these experiments may open up the possibility of future tests with computers, and primates like monkeys all currently are used for computer tasks. So this is a really interesting, exciting possibility for bear testing in the future. So all these 3 details, and again, these A, B, and C, these can be examples, they can be details, they can just be explanation in your own words, but they should be from the article. So these 3 things come from the article, and I'm putting them in my own words. So later, when I put these 3 ideas into my essay in paragraph form, it's going to be easier for me to put them in my own words and explain them without plagiarizing. Okay? Again, I'm just going to do these first few paragraphs so you get the idea, because your entire homework assignment will actually be to finish. Go ahead and try this. Do your best work as possible with paragraph 3. Attribute 2 is going to be different. You're going to have, for me, it would be forming alliances and friendships. It's going to have a different focus. Attribute 2, focus 2. And then I'm going to have 3 facts and 3 details that support this other focus. Okay? Do your best with the concluding paragraph. Think about it as how would you wrap up or how would you summarize the ideas in your whole essay. Go ahead and put your best work there. I know there's 3 different spaces There's actually a third. Okay, so again, you want to have this completely wrapped up and finished. If you're struggling, look at my Power Learning page. I think you can zoom in on this and look closer. This is another example of what I just showed you. And I do expect you to have 2 articles completely annotated by next class. I hope this video was helpful, and see you soon. Good luck.